Well, Alfie, old boy, looks like it's another day, another dollar.
New York Tribune, 5 cents. Good morning, Mr. Banks.
Good morning, Lyle. Aren't you cold standing out here in this weather?
A little, but I have to work. Otherwise, I'll be cold and hungry.
So, what's the news of the day?
I could tell you all of it, but then I wouldn't make any money, would I? If you want the news, buy yourself a paper. They're only a nickel.
You're a shrewd businessman, Lyle. You ever thought about going into real estate?
No, sir.
Have a good day, Lyle.
You too, Mr. Banks.
Morning, fellas. What's the good word?
Good morning, Banks.
Morning, Banks.
Horse feathers. Why is it so hot in here?
Morris apparently has a chill. He set the heating on as high as it goes this morning. Suggs and I had to prop the door open so we didn't sweat to death.
We must be raking in a fair amount this month if he can afford to do that.
I sure wish that kid outside would pipe down.
I know what you mean, Larry. He's giving me a headache.
Suggs.
Yeah, Banks?
How are you today, Suggs?
I can't really complain. Well, I mean, I could complain, but who would listen?
How are your sales going this week?
And not so great. I had a sweet old lady yesterday who was this close to buying an apartment for her cat.
I'm sure things will pick up.
And I'm sure you'd know, being Morris's right hand and all.
Now, Suggs, that's hardly fair. You know we're all equal in here.
You're right. Forget I said anything.
I'll just let you get back to it.
Thanks.
Got a minute, Murphy?
Sure, but I'm still on the clock.
Sales going okay for you?
Could be a lot worse. Could be a lot better, too. You ever going to share your good fortune with us, Banks?
What do you mean?
You always seem to manage to get the best leads. That's pretty lucky, don't you think?
I'm not sure I like what you're implying, Murphy.
Not implying, just observing. Anyway, let's drop it.
Everything going all right with you, Murphy?
Yep, everything's copacetic.
I'll let you get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, Banks, Morris wanted to see you. Said it was important.
Thanks for letting me know when I walked in, Suggs.
Hey, it's been a busy morning. It must have slipped my mind.
Good morning, Evan. Suggs said you wanted to see me?
Have a seat, Alfie.
This doesn't seem like a conversation that's going to be pleasant.
I'm afraid it isn't. You know I'm not the type to beat around the bush, so here's the long and the short of it. We're not doing well. Sales are minimal and the competition is popping up all over town like a bad rash. I hate to do it, but we're going to have to let someone go.
I see. Who did you have in mind?
That's mainly why I asked to see you, Alfie. You have more contact with Suggs and Murphy, so I think this decision should be yours.
Well, I'm kind of on the spot here, but I think Murphy should be the one let go. He means well, but he just doesn't perform as well as he could.
Very well, if that's what you think, then I trust your judgment. Thank you for your help, Alfie. It's always appreciated.
Anything else you need?
Not at the moment. Go ahead and check the assignment board in the break room for today's leads.
Will do.
And the son of a bitch says clear as day he means well, but doesn't perform as well as he could. Can you believe it? I'd be performing 3 times as well if Golden Boy didn't take all the good leads first. I mean, just because he's Hiram's son doesn't entitle him to...
Hey, quiet, somebody's coming.
Gentlemen.
Hello, Banks. Your meeting with Morris go well?
I would say so, yes.
Great to hear. Well, Murphy and I better get back to work.
Time to make some magic. Operator, connect me to the Stamford residence in Bensonhurst, if you would, please. Hello, is this Ms. Irene Stamford? Yes, hello, this is Alfred Banks calling from Morrison Banks. I just wanted to follow up on the deposit you put down in the apartment in Flatbush. No, thank you very much, Mr. Contis. A pleasure doing business with you. 5 sales in 30 minutes. I think that might be a new record.
Alfie, can you come here a moment?
What is it, Evan?
I'm running late for the weekly shareholders meeting. Could you lock up my office for me?
Of course.
Here's the key. I'll be back shortly.
What on earth was that?
Sounds like Suggs is being his clumsy old self as usual. Let me know if you need any help in there.
Suggs, what's going on?
I was trying to change a light bulb and slipped. But I'm fine. All that's hurt is my pride.
Here, let me help you clean up.
Thanks, Banks. I have to get back to it now.
That was a bit odd.
Banks, if you don't mind, I wanted to go over this sales sheet with you.
I'm back, Alfie. Got my key?
Yes, Evan, it's right. Odd. I thought I'd put it in my other pocket. Anyway, here you are.
Alfie,
Yes?
where are tomorrow's leads?
I beg your pardon?
The leads for tomorrow? The ones that were on my desk? They're no longer on my desk. Where have they gone?
I have no idea. I haven't been in your office since this morning.
You know I trust you 100%, Alfie, but this is a very serious matter.
I'm aware of it. Look, I'll get Suggs and Murphy together and we'll look for them.
Or maybe you could just look under Banks's hat, Mr. Morris.
What?
We both saw you, Banks. There's no need to put on a charade.
Coming clean will save us all a lot of embarrassment.
Is what they're saying true, Alfie?
What? No, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Then you won't mind me looking under your hat? Just to be sure you understand.
See for yourself.
Alfie, really? You of all people?
Evan, please, you know me. Would I be capable of doing this?
I honestly don't know what to think, Alfie. You have to admit, this doesn't look good.
Well, there has to be a logical explanation, but I can tell you I didn't do this.
Alfie, look at it from my perspective. The leads were in my office when I left and gone when I came back. You were the only one with the key, and now they show up under your hat. What would you do in my shoes?
So does this mean I've been canned?
I hate to do this, Alfie. You know your father and I were great friends, and you've been an asset to this company. But for now, I think you should take an indefinite leave of absence.
Fine. I see how it is. I guess I'll see you fellas around.
Hey, no hard feelings, Banks. Here you go. See? It ain't even wooden.
Taking an early lunch, Mr. Banks?
No, Sure, just taking an early lunch.
Well, if you need anything to read while you eat, I still got plenty of papers left. New York Tribune, 5 cents. Good morning, Mr. Banks.
Good morning, Lyle. Don't suppose the news of the day can be any worse than the morning I've had. Let me have a paper, please.
That'll be a nickel.
Thanks, Lyle. Murder, extortion, robbery, par for the course in this city. What's this? Merrick making waves in Florida? Miami, eh? I've always heard that place was nothing more than glorified swampland. But I'll be damned if I'm just gonna roll over and freeze to death up here. When I'm finished down there, the name Banks will finally mean something again. So, Mr. Merrick, let's just see what you've got to offer. Hello, Miami. Alfie Banks. Huzzah! Oh, horse feathers. This humidity is something else. Right. I've got my luggage claim ticket. Now I just need to find this Hotel Belmont and...
Hey there! Hello!
Are you speaking to me, sir?
You see anybody else around, son? Come on over here and have a chat with old Doc Dammers, why don't you?
May I help you with something?
Pardon me for saying so, my boy, but I believe I'm the one who can offer you the help.
I'm really not interested in buying anything, sir.
Of course you aren't. Did you think I just fell off the turnip truck? I can tell a fellow salesman a mile away. You're here to get a piece of the action, aren't you?
Yes, I suppose I am.
Then consider this your own little welcoming committee. What did you say your name was?
I didn't. It's Banks. Alfred Banks.
Well then, welcome to Miami, Alfred Banks. By your complexion, I'm guessing you come from up north.
Yes, New York, actually.
Hell of a town, but you'll find we do things a bit differently down here. If you got any questions, feel free to ask.
I'm interested in this Coral Gables development I've heard about.
Oh, straight to the top, eh? They call it Miami's master suburb. It's been meticulously planned and is ready to start construction at any moment. Lots are going faster than a Tin Lizzie downhill. If you want to get involved there, you're going to need to talk to the man in charge, George Merrick.
Where can I find George Merrick?
He's got a sales office downtown, right on Flagler Street. Look for the building made of coral rock next to the Stocks and Bonds office. You can't miss it. Of course, George is incredibly busy these days and doesn't talk to just anyone.
Maybe not, but he'll talk to me.
I like your spirit, kid. You'll get places thinking like that.
What's the current market like down here? I've heard quite a few things back in New York.
People are buying left and right. It's a great time to be in real estate. Plenty of dough to be made. Every day, more and more locals and tourists come looking for their own spot of land, and we're here to sell. Mark my words, Banks, we're on the verge of something great.
How long have you been in this business?
Probably longer than you've been alive, son. Before this opportunity opened up, I was selling lots on Miami Beach for Carl Fisher himself. Surely you saw his billboard in Times Square.
You mean it's June in Miami? Of course, everyone saw that. It's partly what inspired me to come down here.
Glad to hear it. That's a perfect example of good marketing and knowing your audience. Why do you think I'm out here by the train station? New arrivals are the easiest to sell to. There's a free piece of advice for you, Banks.
I appreciate the information, Mr. Dammers, but I'm afraid I must be going.
Of course, eager to get started, I understand. And believe me, there'll be plenty to do very soon.
It was a pleasure to have met you. Maybe I'll see you around town.
I can more or less guarantee that, my boy.
Hello, and welcome to the Hotel Belmont.
Excuse me.
How may I help you, sir?
Is there anything you can tell an out-of-towner about this city?
Certainly. It's been growing at an alarming rate, especially in the past few years. There's no denying we're at the start of a land boom. I hear tell this new Coral Gables development is going to bring in thousands more people as well. At this pace, we could be the next Manhattan by 25.
I'd like to check in, please. My reservation was made under Banks, Alfred.
One moment, please. Yes, here you are. Your room will be the second door to your right when you get to the top of the stairs. Oh, someone was here earlier from the train station to deliver your luggage. It's been placed in your room. I'll just take that claim ticket off your hands for you.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem, sir. Please, let me know if I can assist you with anything else.
Thank you for your assistance, my good man.
Happy to help.
Pardon me, miss.
I'm terribly sorry, sir, but I'm just too busy for you right now. Perhaps you could come back another time?
Another time? I've just come all the way from New York. Surely there's something a lovely young lady like you can do to help out a man in need?
Look, Buster, I've heard it all before. Like I said, I haven't got time for you at this moment.
What seems to be the trouble?
Well, not that you'd care, but I need to get these letters written. And seeing as the weekly shipment of supplies has been delayed, I'm forced to do them by hand.
You seem very dedicated to your job. I can appreciate that.
I am, yes. Mainly because I want to keep it. Now, unless you want to come back here and pick up a pen, I really need to get back to my work.
A tempting offer, but I'll have to decline. I'll be back later. Pardon me, miss. Would this typewriter ribbon be of any use to you?
It certainly would. Mine wore out yesterday, and I ordered a replacement, but it hasn't come in yet. Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate it. This will cut my work time by half at least.
My pleasure. Happy to help. Pardon me, miss.
What may I do for you, sir?
I'd like to see Mr. George Merrick.
Take a number. Mr. Merrick is in very high demand. I'm afraid he's not currently seeing walk-ins.
Would it be possible to make an appointment to see Mr. Merrick?
Certainly. Let me see. Our next available appointment is next August.
What? That's preposterous.
Mr. Merrick is a very busy man.
I think you've made that quite clear. Come now. I helped you out with your typewriter. Now you're just gonna hi-hat me? I don't know how things work down here, but where I'm from, one good turn usually deserves another.
Okay. Keep your shirt on. I'll level with you. I'm not going to be able to get you an appointment, but I can tell you that Mr. Merrick keeps an eye out for fresh talent. If you can manage to do something to impress him, he may see you without an appointment.
I see. What would you suggest?
Well, I'm not sure, but you might be able to get something done at today's land auction.
A land auction, you say? Where and when?
It's set to start this afternoon, around 2 o'clock. You'll find it at the corner of Granada Avenue and Coral Way.
Fantastic. I'll head over there right away.
Good luck.
Have you got any pertinent information on the Coral Gables development?
None I'm allowed to divulge, sir.
I'll let you get back to your work.
Thank you, sir.
Do I hear any bids for the Madrid lots? You'd be a fool to let those slip away. Sold! You've made your husband a very happy man, miss.
Well, fancy seeing you here.
Thanks. What brings you to my humble little land auction?
I'm trying to see Mr. Merrick, but it's proving a bit more difficult than I'd anticipated.
Don't say old Doc didn't warn you, son. Anyway, I'd love to chat, but I'm a bit tied up at the moment.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Actually, there is. See those two sets of stragglers over there, separate from the crowd? They're all about a hair's breadth away from buying, but I just can't get them to budge. Take your pick. If you can convince either set to buy some houses, I just might put in a good word for you back at the sales office. The fellow by himself there seems like he won't take too much effort to convince. If you want a real challenge, you might try the crowd of 5 there.
I'll see what I can do.
Attaboy. Oh, one more thing before you get started. I know you've got experience in this business, but I want to talk to you about seller intuition. From time to time, you might find yourself needing to persuade someone. You know as well as I do that that's all about finding a person's weakness and bending it to your whim. When you're talking to them, you can use seller intuition to your advantage. It'll give you a clearer read on people and let you figure out what you should play to in order to get them to see things your way. But enough yammering from me. Go and do what you have to do. Come on, folks, it's a beautiful day to buy some land.
Pardon me, sir. I wonder if I could have a moment of your time.
What can I do for you, Mac?
The name's Alfie Banks, and I think I'm the one that can do something for you. I hear you're in the market to buy a lot.
It's true. I've heard plenty about this Coral Gables development, but I've got some reservations.
Let's have a chat then. I'm sure I can assuage all your concerns.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm not exactly the researching type. Fact is, I'm just going by what I've been told. I've noticed that they're not just selling houses, but also lots. What good is a patch of dirt to me anyway?
This isn't just a patch of dirt, as you call it. It's in a prime location.
Well, I always hear it said that real estate is all about location. But speaking of, what is it that makes this location so wonderful?
From what I've seen, you'll have everything at your doorstep. You won't need to travel very far to get what you need.
Well now, that's definitely an advantage. If there's one thing I despised about my home up north, it was having to walk everywhere in the cold. One thing I don't understand though, why is the land being sold at an auction? It seems a bit shady, to be honest.
It's for the consideration of the buyer, to make things easier. We're trying to make these sales as stress-free and simple as possible.
And I certainly do appreciate that, don't get me wrong. Now be honest with me. All this seems a bit too good to be true. There has to be something that isn't right about all this.
Like any large undertaking, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be construction, and not everything will be available right away, but you'll see. This place will be thriving in no time.
I appreciate your honesty. There ought to be more salesmen like you.
So what do you say? Do we have a deal?
We sure do. Where do I sign?
A pleasure doing business with you, sir. I hope you'll enjoy your new home.
Nice job over there, Banks. You got a real knack for this business. Now go get some rest, would you? You don't want to overwork yourself first day here, after all.
Mr. Banks, I have a message for you when you get a chance.
Excuse me.
How may I help you, sir?
You said you had a message for me.
Yes, sir. From George Merrick at the Coral Gables sales office. He's asked you to stop by at your earliest convenience.
Fantastic. Thank you. Pardon me, miss.
What may I do for you, sir?
I got a message from Mr. Merrick asking me to see him.
Ah, yes, he's expecting you, Mr. Banks. Go ahead and knock on his door there.
I'll let you get back to your work.
Thank you, sir.
Come in.
Good afternoon, Mr. Merrick. I'm Alfred Banks. You wanted to see me?
Ah, yes, of course, Mr. Banks. Please come in. Make yourself at home. Please, have a seat.
It really is a pleasure to finally meet you, Mr. Merrick. Like I said, my name is Alfred Banks, and
I know who you are, Mr. Banks. I was well aware of your father's work up north. It seems apparent that you are eagerly following in his footsteps. You've gotten my attention. Now let's see how serious you really are. I see great potential in you, but a good sales agent needs more than just talent. He needs ability and know-how.
I've got those in spades.
You're certainly confident, I'll give you that. In any case, I have a few small setbacks which I need to deal with, and I think they would serve as an excellent proving ground for you.
Proving ground?
Think of it as an extended job interview.
I'm all ears. What do you need?
I can give you more details as you need them, but currently I'm faced with 3 concerns. The first is a man living on a prime piece of land who is refusing to sell. The second is my need for quality advertising. And the third is getting back some stolen design plans.
What's the story with the holdout?
There's a stretch of land which is of great interest to me in the area of Anastasia Avenue. Currently, the land is owned by an individual who has no interest in selling it. He's built himself a home there and understandably wants to keep it. Unfortunately, business is business, and I need that land to complete a very important project. I need you to convince the gentleman to sell.
What's the story with the holdout?
There's a stretch of land which is of great interest to me in the area of Anastasia Avenue. Currently, the land is owned by an individual who has no interest in selling it. He's built himself a home there and understandably wants to keep it. Unfortunately, business is business, and I need that land to complete a very important project. I need you to convince the gentleman to sell.
What about your need for publicity?
Any project, no matter how good it is doomed to fail if nobody knows about it. I've managed to secure some decent advertising, but I feel we need something more. The story of Coral Gables needs to make headlines. I'd like you to head over to the Miami Herald building and see if you can befriend a reporter or two. Having a journalist in our corner would do wonders for our advertising.
What about your design plans?
I regret to say that a set of design plans was stolen from my office a few weeks ago by a man claiming to want a job interview. In reality, he was a spy, sent from my competitor Orrin Riley's real estate company. Riley still has my plans, but 2 can play his game. Since you're a fresh face in town, I need you to infiltrate his company and take back the plans. I'll have my secretary set up an interview for you later today. And here, take this set of dummy plans and leave it in place of the real ones so Riley doesn't get suspicious.
Infiltrate his company? What will that entail exactly?
My guess is that Riley will have the plans stored away in his office someplace. You may need to do a bit of searching. Are you comfortable with that? I know it's asking for quite a bit.
I think so, sir. I'll do as much as I can within legal means.
Of course. I'm not asking you to commit any crimes. After all, you're just taking back something that was already stolen. Think of it as a repossession.
I'll just get to it then.
I wish you the best of luck. Although, you seem the type who makes his own luck. I have a feeling I can expect great things from you.
Quite an operation they've got going on in here.
Hello, sir. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
May I have a moment?
You may.
I'm Alfred Banks, and I believe you have the advantage.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
Pleasure. What is it you do around here, Miss Douglas?
I write articles, conduct interviews, and investigate stories. I'm what's commonly referred to in this business as a reporter.
I suppose that was a bit of a silly question on my part.
Well, at least you can admit to it. That puts you ahead of most.
Have you reported anything on George Merrick's Coral Gables project?
Don't know that I'd have to. He spent a small fortune on advertising. I doubt there's a single person in town who hasn't heard of it by now.
That may not exactly be the case. Mr. Merrick asked me to come here and inquire about possibly getting someone to do a bit of publicity for him.
Ah, suddenly it all becomes clear. Let's get something straight right now. I'm not some dumb Dora at anyone's beck and call. If Merrick wants a reporter in his pocket, it'll have to be someone else. I'm far too busy to find myself on the leash of some land developer and his cronies.
Now, let's not be so hasty. I'm sure Mr. Merrick isn't looking for a lapdog, just someone who can provide some help. Maybe we can reach some sort of agreement.
Now that you mention it, maybe we can. Okay, I'll help you out if you do me a favor first.
Name it.
There's a story I've been following, but I've hit a bit of a roadblock. Are you familiar with Jeremiah Miller?
Afraid not. Who is he?
He's a local politician, county commissioner in fact, very outspoken on the subject of prohibition. I have reason to believe, however, that he's full of hot air. Unfortunately, I've never been able to get close enough to him to see if my hunch is right.
So, where do I come in?
Miller enjoys spending his time at the Miami Men's Club on Brickell Avenue. I figure if he's going to indulge in any illicit pastimes, that would be his ideal spot. As I am of the fairer sex and therefore not allowed inside, I need someone I can trust to get in there and see if I'm right.
And you trust me?
Not particularly, but you're my best hope, and you need my help. So I figured you've got the best chance of actually getting this done.
So, if I catch Miller in the act, what then?
Bring me some sort of proof of his hypocrisy, be it a photograph or a signed confession. I'm not fussy.
I'll see what I can do. Do you enjoy your work here?
I do, although to be completely frank, it's gotten a bit tedious. Granted, what I'm doing now is much better than what I did when I started, that being the society column. Back then, things were so slow I made up half my stories.
It certainly seems like there's a lot going on in town these days.
I won't argue with you on that point, but we'll see what the future brings. Maybe I'll take a crack at going out on my own. We've managed to get the vote. I see no reason why a woman can't make a name for herself as a freelance writer.
Anything you can tell me about Miami?
When I first got here, this was no more than a glorified railroad terminal. There were less than 5,000 people and the streets were made of white dust. Now we've got hundreds, if not thousands, of new faces showing up every day and are constantly expanding. I bet it won't be long before some other fool tries draining the Everglades to make more room.
I'll see you around.
Count on it.
Begging your pardon, sir, but where exactly do you think you're going? Only members of this club are allowed in there, and I don't believe that you are one.
Begging your pardon, my good man.
Yes?
This seems a rather exclusive establishment.
Yes, sir, it is. Did you need something in particular, or did you prefer to stand around all day discussing the obvious?
Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that someone wanted to join your club. How would one go about doing so?
It's a rather simple three-step process. 1, you have to be a man. I believe you've already met that requirement. 2, you must prove your pedigree. We don't just allow anyone in off the street. Finally, you need to have a respected member of the community vouch for you. Once you've done that, it's a simple matter of waiting to be contacted for approval.
I didn't catch your name.
That's because I didn't pitch it. You can call me Morris if you need anything. Of course, how much I'll actually be able to serve you remains to be seen.
Morris? Any relation to Evan Morris from New York?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, well, I guess that helps my chances of getting into this club at least. Are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of Jeremiah Miller?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Come on, I know for a fact that he's a member of this club.
Then why did you ask me?
Because I want to know what you know about him.
As I said, I'm not at liberty to discuss members of this club with non-members. I'm sure you understand.
I'm afraid I must be going.
Good day to you, sir.
Take a look at this photo. Notice anything in particular?
It looks like you, with a mustache. If I may be frank, I'm glad you shaved it off. It doesn't really suit you.
That's my father, Hiram Banks. He was one of the top real estate moguls in the Northeast. Surely that demonstrates I have some sort of pedigree.
Ah, of course. While I have to admit I've never heard of the man, we have several members who surely have, being in that field. Very good. The club will take this into consideration when evaluating your membership application.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Merrick.
Banks, a pleasure to see you. Please, have a seat.
I was wondering if I could ask a favor of you.
What might that be?
I'm trying to join the Miami Men's Club, and I need someone to vouch for me.
A society climber on your first day in town?
It's not quite like that.
I understand. Sometimes this business makes us do things we weren't expecting.
You're telling me.
Very well. Give me 1 moment and I'll have Miss Rogers type up a letter for you. She's typing it up for you right now.
Thank you, Mr. Merrick.
My pleasure.
I'll just get to it then.
I wish you the best of luck.
Here you are, Mr. Banks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rogers. Have a look at this. It's a letter from George Merrick sponsoring my entry into your club.
Merrick, eh? Well, he is a fairly prestigious member of the community. Very good. The club will take this into consideration when evaluating your membership application. Well, you seem to have provided sufficient information to be considered for membership into this club. Now it's just a matter of your evaluation.
How long will that take?
Oh, it all depends. Likely a week or two. We'll contact you when the decision has been made.
I'm not sure I can wait that long.
In that case, there may be ways of expediting the process.
Say, friend, you've really been a great help today. I'd like to give you a little something for your trouble.
Why, thank you, Mr. Banks. Ah, well, what do you know? It seems the results of your evaluation are in, and you've passed with flying colors. Welcome to the Miami Men's Club. Please feel free to use any of the club's amenities at your leisure. And of course, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. May I take your hat, sir?
Yes, of course. Much appreciated.
Well, look at this, boys. It seems we've got a new member. Come on in, my boy. There's no need to be shy. What's your name, and where are you coming from?
Alfred Banks from New York. Just relocated to Miami this morning.
I must say, you work fast, Banks. Just arrived and already a member of one of the best men's clubs in town. You must really be the cat's pajamas.
Well,
But where are my manners? I'm Jeremiah Miller, County Commissioner, District 2.
Pleasure.
I welcome you not only to the club, but to our fair city as well.
Thank you, sir.
Feel free to make yourself at home and get to know the others. If you have any questions about the city or anything else, I'll be happy to help.
Good book? Pardon me, sir, but... Mr. Miller?
What can I help you with, Banks?
So, you're a county commissioner.
Indeed, I am.
What does that entail exactly?
Well, I won't bore you with the particulars, but basically I'm one of several elected officials who run the county. It's not a bad jumping point if you, like me, are interested in furthering your political career. Your best bet is to find a platform and rally up supporters. After that, climbing the ladder is duck soup.
Oh, my game is real estate, not politics.
You mean there's a difference? We're both out to screw the next chump over. Why, our fields are practically brothers.
Isn't that a bit cynical, sir?
Oh, it's a necessary quality in this business, my friend. Now, don't dismiss my idea so easily, Banks. You've got the makings of a politician in you. I wouldn't be surprised to see you in office somewhere within the next few years.
I've heard you've got a particularly strong stance on the subject of prohibition.
You heard correctly, Banks. I have a strict no-tolerance policy. Oh, don't get me wrong. What a man does in his home is his business. But people going out on the town and getting smoked, it's unacceptable.
Just a minute. Are you saying you're fine with a man drinking in his own home?
Well, come now, old sport. Don't be naive. Every man enjoys a little nip now and then. Prohibition is designed for the masses, not the individuals. Keep the drink. Just look at this place. I've made sure we're as dry as a bone in here, and nobody is the worse for it.
Have you lived here long?
About 20 years, in fact. This city has grown considerably since then, and I'm proud to be involved in its government.
Know anything about the other club members? They seem a bit cold.
Nah, don't let them get to you. They're just a bit shy around new members. Soon enough, they'll warm up to you, and they'll be like your second family. In any case, the bookworm over there is Carlton Meeks. From what I understand, he's in the real estate game. The two gents over there are John Norris Sr. and Jr. Not a day goes by, they aren't in here having some sort of squabble. And finally, the esteemed gentleman leaning on the counter is Franklin Evans. Don't think I've seen his face in years. He tends to keep to himself, you see. They're not the liveliest bunch, but they'll grow on you.
Mr. Miller, this may be none of my business, but I was just trying to talk to the fellow over there by the counter, and, well, he's got a very strong scent of alcohol on him. I felt a bit woozy just standing next to him.
You don't say. I suppose that would explain quite a bit. This won't do. No, sir, not at all. Excuse me a moment, won't you, Banks? Evans, are you drunk? Evans, answer me. Good Lord, how much have you had? You're a hazard. What if I wanted to light a cigarette? You're a disgrace to the good name of this club.
Your hat, sir.
Thank you. May I have a moment?
You may.
I'll see you around.
Count on it.
Have a look at this. It's Jeremiah Miller's engraved flask.
So my hunch was right after all. Nice work, Banks. It's a bit of a tenuous link, but it's probably the best we'll be able to do at this point. Well, a deal's a deal. You can go ahead and tell Merrick I'll write for him.
I appreciate your help, Miss Douglas.
Yes? May I help you?
Good day to you, sir. My name is Alfie Banks, and...
Whatever it is you're selling, I'm not interested.
But I'm not here to sell you anything. In fact, quite the contrary.
Oh, I see. Merrick sent you, didn't he?
Well, yes, he did.
Look, you can go back and tell him exactly what I told all the others. Nothing doing. I bought this land before he got his little vision, and I intend to keep it. I tried appeasing him by building my house to match his Mediterranean style, but apparently even that wasn't good enough. I did everything by the book and filed all the proper paperwork. You tell Merrick he'll get me off this land when I'm no longer drawing breath. Good day to you, sir.
Excuse me.
What can I do for you?
What sort of records do you keep in this office?
All kinds. Marriage licenses, death certificates, property titles, you name it.
How far back do they go?
Not too far back, 30 years or so. The city wasn't officially incorporated until 1896, but I have some records going back to 1891. You let me know if there's anything you need to look up.
Have you always lived in Miami?
Nah, I moved down here from Philly after the war. Nice place. Can't beat the climate, that's for sure.
Could I look something up?
Of course. What do you need?
There's a house at 1251 Anastasia Avenue that I need some information on.
Of course. Let me go have a look. Yes, here we are. Belongs to one Ernest Mathers. Built it himself 6 months ago.
Might I have a copy of the document?
What's your business with it?
I'm working with Mr. George Merrick of the Coral Gables project, and it's of utmost importance to his acquisition of the land.
All right, you can take this copy.
Thank you for your help.
Anytime.
You again? What do you want?
Mr. Mathers, I've just been to the Hall of Records downtown, and I pulled up a copy of your house record.
Yes? And?
It seems you had a property inspection done when you completed the house, but it was very basic. Furthermore, you didn't pull any construction permits.
I didn't need to. I haven't done any exterior work.
Nevertheless, I'm afraid I'll need to perform an inspection of your home just as a matter of record.
On what authority?
Look, you can either let me come in and do a brief home inspection, or I can report you to the county, and you can deal with whatever fine or punishment they see fit to dispense.
Fine. Come in. I don't know what you expect to find, though.
Uneven rafters are quite the hazard. This whole roof could come tumbling down on you.
Haven't had any problems so far.
What a mess! You clearly have a problem with a water leak.
And I've called the plumber, but he's yet to get back to me.
Quite a nasty buildup of mold you have here.
My wife told me she'd clean it up.
This wall shows clear signs of water damage. You probably have a cracked pipe somewhere back there.
Oh, I suppose that would explain it.
Your fireplace seems to be letting go of some of its tiles.
Oh, yes, I've been meaning to fix those.
Nice gazebo. I hope you know you need to have a permit to have one of those.
It was a wedding gift from my sister. How was I meant to know?
Ignorance of rules is no excuse, Mr. Mathers. Your floor tiles are severely cracked here. Do you regularly have elephants as house guests?
No. I mean, my mother-in-law hasn't seen the new house yet. That was a joke.
I'm sure it was. These baseboards look like they were installed during the Roosevelt administration.
No, they're supposed to look like that. It's the style, makes them seem classic.
You seem to have several problems in this home. Are you sure you performed a thorough inspection?
Well, yes. Yeah, I'm sure I did.
I see. And who was it that performed this inspection exactly?
Why, it was a man. Yes, a man from the city.
And did you happen to get this man's name?
Well, no, I wasn't aware of...
You didn't really have an inspection performed, did you?
No. I paid someone to say they had done one on the public record. You won't tell anyone, will you?
You're in quite a state here, Mr. Mathers. Not only did you build this house without the proper permits, but you also put fraudulent information on your report. This doesn't look good any way you cut it.
Please, I have money. How much to get you to look the other way?
I'm afraid my silence can't be bought, Mr. Mathers. However, you might be able to get yourself out of this jam if you sell your house and land to Mr. Merrick.
So this is what it's come to. I see how it is. You come in here playing the White Knight, but you're no better than any of the rest of them. I did what I had to do to keep my land, but I suppose that was all for naught. Fine. I'll call up Mr. Merrick and tell him he's won. I hope you can live with yourself, you snake.
I'm sure I'll manage. Have a nice afternoon, sir. Pardon me, miss.
What can I help you with, sir?
You seem very relaxed.
Do I? Well, I'll have you know I'm anything but. Why, just this afternoon I have an appointment with my pedicurist. Then first thing tomorrow morning it's off to the day spa, and then I have to go to the hair salon.
I get the point, miss. I really sympathize with your plight.
Oh, well, ain't you a sweetheart?
I have an interview scheduled with Mr. Riley today.
I see. And your name is?
Alfred Banks.
Just a minute.
Were you going to let him know I'm here?
Huh? Oh, right. Hey, Mr. Riley, you got someone here to see you.
I think I could have done that myself.
Go ahead and go through the door there.
Of course. Thank you.
What can I do for you, young man?
Hello, Mr. Riley. My name is Alfie Banks, and I'm here for a job interview.
Ah, yes, of course. My secretary informed me you'd be coming in. I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry today, however. I have a very important appointment I must depart for in about 15 minutes.
Then I suppose we should get this over with as soon as possible.
Yes, of course. Well, let's begin. Why don't we start off by you telling me a bit about yourself?
Well, you already know my name. I used to work at Morrison Banks up in New York, but recently moved here because of the land boom. I've got plenty of experience from working at my father's company.
You don't say. What made you get into real estate?
I wanted to follow in the footsteps of my father.
Honoring the family business. I greatly respect that. In a way, I'm a bit envious. I don't have any sons, so my business will eventually go to someone else. But I still value family. It's really the most important part of my life. But listen to me babbling. Let's get back to the interview. Now, what do you think you can bring to this company?
I'm very good at dealing with people. I have yet to meet a client I'm unable to convince.
Well, Banks, I must say, you seem to be a very promising candidate. I'll have my secretary contact you in a few days. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must run. I have to meet my daughter for dinner, and I don't want to be late. A word of advice, Banks. As great as this business will make you feel, you are nobody if you haven't got someone who loves you. My daughter, for instance, means the world to me. I always want her to be around, which is why I've got these paintings of her in my office. But I digress. Let me show you back out. Good day to you, Banks. Caroline, hold my calls.
Pardon me, miss.
What can I help you with, sir?
I'm afraid I need to get back into Mr. Riley's office.
Oh? Why is that?
I left something behind in there during my interview.
No, I see. Go ahead and get it. I never lock the door when Mr. Riley is out anyway.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate the help.
Mm-hmm.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Merrick.
Banks, a pleasure to see you. Please, have a seat.
Here you are, Mr. Merrick. I got your design plans back from Riley.
Very impressive work, Banks. Did you get the job, too?
I'm not quite sure about that, sir.
Well, for the time being, let's hope you didn't. I don't want Riley stealing anything else from me.
I'll just get to it then.
I wish you the best of luck.
I believe that's everything taken care of, Mr. Merrick.
You know, when you first walked through that door, I had a feeling there was something special about you. I'm glad to see my assumptions were well placed. Welcome aboard the Golden Galleon, Banks. I think you're going to do wonders for us.
The Golden Galleon, sir?
Yes, it's our new slogan. Dammers came up with it. Follow the Golden Galleon to Coral Gables, where your castles in Spain are made real.
It certainly has a ring to it.
That it does. Now then, there's no time to waste. I've got some big plans for the next few years, and I'm going to need all the help I can get.
How are those sales going, Banks?
Not bad, Doc. Just made another 12 this hour.
I knew there was something special about you the minute you stepped off that train, kid.
Say, Doc, this new office is great and all, but aren't we a bit crowded in this room?
You'll get used to it, kiddo.
It's just that in New York, I wasn't...
Well, this isn't New York, as I'm sure you've noticed by now. Anyway, George wants to see you in his office ASAP.
I see. Thanks for letting me know.
Alfie, good to see you. Please, come in. How do you like the new office?
It's a bit crowded, but much nicer looking than the one downtown.
The success of Coral Gables isn't going to be about money or sales. It's about aesthetics.
Well, you've certainly gone above and beyond in that department, sir.
There's no need to be so formal. We're all a big family here. Please call me George.
Fair enough. What was it you wanted to see me about, George?
Ah, yes, of course. I'm giving you a very special assignment. We've been doing fantastic with sales thus far, but I've decided to try a new approach. I'm calling the project State Days. Each week, we'll bring down a group of people by bus from a different state. But it won't just be enough to show them around. We need something more. A spectacle.
What kind of spectacle?
Ah, this is where you come in. I want you to ask around, see if you can find some sort of performer or show that will impress the crowds.
I really wouldn't know where to begin.
You're a resourceful young fellow. I'm sure you'll find something. Which reminds me. Here you are, the keys to your own company car. It should make getting around town much easier.
No fooling? My own car?
It's cheaper for us to have you drive yourself around rather than pay for taxi rides. You can drive, can't you?
Well, I admit it's been a while.
Just take care not to run into any ditches and you should be fine. Oh, and also, this telegram arrived for you this morning. I was going to send it along with my secretary, but you got here first. Now get to it. I've got a group from New York coming in 2 days, and I want some entertainment for them.
I'm on it.
There he is.
Beauregard, how nice to see you.
Oh, why so formal, Alfred? Aren't you glad to see your brother?
Of course, I just wish I'd had a bit more of a warning is all.
Oh, come on. Who needs warnings with family? Anyway, let's have a seat. I was about to chew my own arm off waiting for you. So, tell me what you've been up to.
I'm working on an assignment at the moment.
Oh yeah? What?
I've been put in charge of finding a spectacle to sell lots to people coming in from out of town.
No kidding. Sounds like fun.
It's not fun, it's work.
So, who's to say work can't be fun?
You've never worked a day in your life, Bo. How would you know?
Are you gonna start with that baloney again?
Fair point. Anyhow, I have yet to find anything suitable.
Well, if it helps, I overheard that guy over there talking about how his wife was a wing walker or something. Might be something worth looking into.
You know, it just might. Thank you, Bo. Why don't you tell me what you've been up to?
Not too much, really. I've kind of been in a rut, to tell the truth. I feel like I could use a change.
Why don't you go to work for the company?
Morris is still peeved at what happened with you. He hasn't been very receptive.
Oh. Look, about that.
You don't have to explain yourself, Alfie. I know you couldn't possibly have done what he says you did. Whatever really happened, you're better off having left that place.
Thank you, Bo. I appreciate your support. I've been doing fairly well, to be honest. I managed to get hired by George Merrick my first day down here.
Well, ain't that just the berries? That your heap out there?
Yes, I was given a company car this morning.
Hate to imagine what company it's been keeping.
What's that supposed to mean?
I just figured a high-profile guy like Merrick could afford something nicer, is all.
It's been great catching up with you, Bo, but I really should get going. How long are you planning on being in town for?
Well, actually, I was considering moving down here too.
Really? You're gonna leave Mother alone?
She'll be fine. She's got plenty of friends in the neighborhood. Besides, it's gotten to the point where I'm feeling like more of a burden than a help.
And she's actually letting little baby Bo come down here on his own?
Knock it off, will ya? She doesn't mind it so much knowing you're here. Anyway, I'll be here if you get any more time off today.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Pardon the interruption, folks.
Huh? Oh, what can I do for you?
Pleasure to meet you, sir. And madam, my name is Alfred Banks, but please call me Alfie.
How do you do, Alfie? The name's Richard Burns, but everyone calls me Curly. Over there's my wife, Mabel Cody.
Pleasure's all mine, Mr. Banks.
Are you folks from down here originally?
Nah, we're just traveling around with our act.
Your act?
Sure, ain't you heard of Mabel Cody's Flying Circus?
I'm afraid I haven't. Please, tell me about it.
Why, it's the most exciting and daring show you'll see all year. We got a biplane which flies unbelievably low to the ground, and Mabel walks across the wings. We've been touring all across the state, impressing crowds in the hundreds.
Sounds exciting. Are you for hire?
Always. Who's interested?
Have you ever heard of George Merrick?
The guy who's developing this area? Sure.
Well, he's in need of a spectacle to entertain crowds he's planning on bringing in from out of state. I think your flying circus would fit the bill perfectly.
Sounds good. But don't forget about our little issues, Curly.
Ah, of course.
Is there a problem?
A couple, actually. But really, they're more minor setbacks than problems. Our pilot just quit to get married, so we haven't got anyone to fly our plane. Then there's the plane itself, which got a bit damaged during the last show. And of course, the small issue of requiring payment in advance. But we can still talk business. These are just minor setbacks that can be easily resolved, I'm sure.
You say you haven't got a pilot?
Well, at the moment, no. Like I said, our guy quit last week.
I heard there's a pretty good pilot in town. but we haven't been able to get a hold of him.
Oh, yeah, the Flynn or something like that. If we could get him on board, that would be just ducky.
What's wrong with your plane?
Nothing too serious. It's being worked on right now. The mechanic said it should be ready by next week.
I don't know if Mr. Merrick wants to wait that long. Where's the plane now? Maybe I can see about speeding up the process.
It's over at the airfield near Granada Boulevard.
About your payment.
Of course, of course. Our fee is $50 up front. That gets you a full show, which lasts 30 minutes.
I'm afraid I haven't got that kind of money on me. I'll have to ask Mr. Merrick about it.
Sure, not a problem. Just let us know when you've got the dough.
I appreciate your time.
No sweat, pal.
Begging your pardon,
Yeah, what is it?
I feel this may be a silly question on my part, but are you a pilot?
Guilty as charged. Zachariah Flynn's the name, but everybody in the know calls me Flyboy.
In the know?
Sure, anyone with half a brain's heard of my heroic deeds during the war.
Are you a new member here? I've never seen you around.
No, I've just been away for a while. I don't know if you've heard, but there was this little thing called the Great War.
Sure, but that was 4 years ago.
I had other things to do before visiting this fair city again. When you get to be as famous as me, there's a lot of demand for your presence.
I suppose my brain must not be intact, because I've never heard of you.
Well then, allow me to enlighten you. During my first campaign, I was in a total of 57 dogfights, and I won every single one of them. I racked up 200 enemy kills and earned 17 Medals of Valor. Then I started my second campaign in 1915, where So that's basically a summary of my accomplishments.
Oh, yes. Fascinating. I have a business proposal for you.
Oh yeah?
I'm in need of a pilot for an air show that's being put together. Would you be interested?
That all depends. What's it pay?
That's a detail we can negotiate later on.
And what exactly happens in the air show?
You fly the plane, and Mabel Cody does wing walking and other stunts.
Mabel Cody, eh?
Yes, of Mabel Cody's Flying Circus. They've been touring all over Florida.
Sounds interesting, but I have one last question. Why on earth would a pilot of my skill and fame want to work for some podunk air show?
Because it's being sponsored by George Merrick and his Coral Gables project. Surely you've heard of that.
Of course, can't throw a rock in this town without seeing ads for it. He seems to be getting lots of people interested.
He is. Just think of what all those people will say when they see you in the show.
Okay, I'll be your pilot, but on one condition.
What's your condition?
I want to be the star attraction of your show. You'll have posters, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Right. I want them to make me out as the star.
I see. Any other requirements?
Well, now that you mention it, the name shouldn't be anything too fancy. I'll let visuals do the work there. Also, the colors should make people think of the sky, like a sunset during a dogfight. And finally, I think they should be a manageable size so we can sell them to people and they can put them on their walls in their homes.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see you later.
Take care, Mac.
Could I bother you a moment, Miss Rogers?
No bother, Mr. Banks. What can I do for you?
So, how are you liking your new job?
Oh, it's wonderful. I finally feel useful around here.
To be fair, being Merrick's secretary wasn't exactly a useless position.
True, but I think I can bring a lot more to this company doing promotional art rather than just taking calls.
Ms. Rogers, I'm on a special assignment for Mr. Merrick, and I need to design a poster.
Sure. What will you be needing?
But I need a few specific design elements.
Just tell me what you need and I'll prepare a mock-up for you. What are you going to want to put on it for the name?
Just Flynn's Flying Circus, I think.
Well, at least there'll be more space on the poster for images. So what color scheme are you going to want?
Orange and red.
Okay, and how big are we going to print these?
About a standard poster size, suitable for framing.
Right. Give me about 20 minutes and I'll have a mock-up designed for you. There you are.
Thank you. Could I bother you a moment, Miss Rogers?
No bother, Mr. Banks. What can I do for you?
The Coral Gables project seems to be going pretty well, wouldn't you say?
It sure does. If this office is any indication, we'll be doing extremely well in the next few years.
Have you happened to hear anything about what's next?
I think Mr. Merrick is still concentrating on getting lots sold. After that, who knows? Although I did overhear someone saying something about a pool. No idea what they meant by it, though.
I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you.
Hello there, my good man.
Yes, sir?
You look awfully young to be an airplane mechanic. How long have you been doing this for?
6 months next week. But I've been working on planes since I was a kid. My father was an airplane mechanic during the war, see? So he taught me everything he knew.
Curly and Mabel sent me to check up on things. How long before this beauty is up in the sky again?
Shouldn't be more than a week. I'm kind of stuck waiting right now. There isn't much else I can do at the moment.
What is it you're waiting on?
I have 2 parts on their way. One's a piece for the rudder, and the other's a magneto for the engine.
What about this magneto you mentioned?
The magneto for the ignition is damaged, and I'm waiting on a replacement to come in.
What sort of engine is it?
Curtiss OX5. Fairly common engine in these types of planes. Some boats, too. Unreliable piece of junk, really. But they mostly get the job done.
Any idea where I'd be able to get one?
Order from the manufacturer, like I did. Aside from that, any place where there's lots of planes or boats would have them in spades.
I think that gives me an idea. By the way, where is the magneto usually found on the engine?
Right at the bottom in front. Can't miss it.
How badly is the rudder damaged?
See for yourself. Looks like something took a bite out of it.
So what are you waiting on to fix it?
A new rudder top. Should be here in a few days.
Is there anything that might be used as a substitute?
Any decent-sized wooden plank would do in a pinch, sure.
I'll let you get on with it.
See ya.
would you mind terribly if I borrowed one of your wrenches?
Not as long as you bring it back, I don't. I can't say I blame you for wanting to borrow it. That clunker looks like it needs to be serviced pretty soon.
Welcome to the Dinner Key Marina, sir. Please let me know if I can be of any assistance.
Hello there.
Fine day for it. What can I do for you?
Don't you get uncomfortable standing out in this heat wearing dark clothing?
You get used to it after a while. And besides, there's a nice sea breeze that comes in every so often. Keeps things cool.
I suppose there are worse places to be standing around.
Yep, that there are.
This marina doesn't seem to have many boats.
Yes, well, hasn't been a commercial marina very long. It was taken over for naval operations during the war. But we're steadily getting more people coming in. My guess is people will be fighting for space within the next year or so.
That's certainly an interesting contraption at the end of the dock there, isn't it?
What, the hydroplane? Yes, it's definitely something to look at. It's been docked there for quite a while now. I actually can't remember seeing who brought it in. Shame, really. I'd like to ask the owner about it. Really quite a fascinating piece of machinery.
I'll just be on my way.
Have a nice day, sir.
Hey, Bo.
Alfie! What's going on?
This is a quaint little place. I've never been here myself.
It is, isn't it? Kinda reminds me of the one back home we used to go to.
I can see it, sure. But all these diners tend to look the same after a while.
There's something about this one. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels special somehow.
Why don't you get a job here?
I just might, actually.
Really? I was just pulling your leg. You're telling me you actually want to work?
Is it that hard to believe?
To be perfectly frank, yes. What's made you change your mind?
Leaving the city, coming down here, I guess it's just made me realize I need to be independent.
How's Mother doing?
She's okay. Coping. Like I said, she's got friends who keep her company.
It's been nearly 10 years since Father died. She needs to move on.
Tell me something I don't know. In a way, I think my moving down here will do her some good. She'll realize she has a life to live on her own.
I certainly hope so. Has New York changed much?
You've been gone less than 4 months. How much could it have possibly changed?
You'd be surprised, Bo. Although, to tell the truth, I get the feeling this city will be almost unrecognizable in a few years. Just the way of the world, I suppose.
You really give me the heebie-jeebies when you get all philosophical like that, Alfie.
Hey, Bo, how'd you like to go for a drive?
Really? Where to?
How about Dinner Key Marina? You can look at the boats in the ocean.
Sounds like the bee's knees. Let's go.
Bo, come over here.
What is it?
I need you to do me a favor and chat up the security guard. Tell him you own that hydroplane over there.
What? Why?
Just trust me. Oh, and if he starts asking you questions about it, just make something up. I get the feeling he isn't exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Okay, if you say so.
Come on, Bo. Let's head back.
That was fun. I'm glad we made it back in one piece. Thanks for the ride, Alfie.
Hey, Doc.
Howdy, Banks.
How are things going for you?
Not bad, not bad. Although, being cooped up in this office is starting to get to me. I'm itching to get back out into the field again. Oh, which reminds me, are you doing anything later today? I could use your help with something.
I should have a little time available. What sort of help did you have in mind?
I'm going to be conducting a demonstration for some prospective buyers, and I need a volunteer. But in order to keep things under control, I can't just pick any old egg. I need a plant.
So you want me to be your volunteer?
If you'd be so kind. I'll have my cart set up in a field near the corner of Granada and Bird. Drop by this afternoon and I'll give you more details.
Everything going well for the development?
Not well, no. Things are going gangbusters. We're expanding every day and getting ever closer to the big project.
Big project?
Oh, don't you worry. That will be revealed very soon.
Better hit the bricks.
Righto.
So what's this all about?
The future, my boy, the future!
And what will I be doing exactly?
You're going to be my plant in the crowd, but there's one last thing I need before we're ready to go.
What's that?
I seem to have misplaced my model streetcar, or maybe I left it back at the sales office. Could you go have a look while I finish setting up?
I'm on it. Got a moment, Wilson?
Of course, Banks. What can I do for you?
What's that you're working on?
Oh, I'm just getting a few reports transcribed for Mr. Merrick.
Reports?
Yeah, you know, the reports you all have to do after making a sale or interviewing a potential client. The ones you're required to do.
Oh, sure, those, of course. Things around here seem to be shaping up pretty nicely, wouldn't you say?
They certainly seem to be, Banks. They certainly seem to be.
Say, you've been around all morning. Did you happen to notice a model streetcar on Doc's desk?
Oh,
Is something wrong?
Banks, you have to promise me you won't say anything.
All right, mum's the word. What's the problem?
When Doc left earlier, I noticed the model streetcar on his desk. I went to get it so I could go after him and let him know he left it behind. But I accidentally knocked it on the floor and, well, the little antenna it had on it broke off. I feel terrible about it, but there's nothing I can do.
Oh, is that all? Don't worry about it. Let me have the model and I'll see about fixing it. And don't worry, Doc will be none the wiser.
Thank you, Banks. I owe you one.
See you around. So what's this all about?
The future, my boy, the future!
And what will I be doing exactly?
You're going to be my plant in the crowd, but there's one last thing I need before we're ready to go.
What's that?
I seem to have misplaced my model streetcar, or maybe I left it back at the sales office. Could you go have a look while I finish setting up?
I'm on it. Here you go, Doc. One model streetcar ready to roll.
Thanks, Alfie. Sometimes I think I'd forget my own head if it weren't bolted on. Now come back in about a half an hour and join the crowd. When I ask for a volunteer, you get up here before any of the others get a chance. Then just follow my lead and we'll knock everyone's socks off.
Sounds easy enough. See you in a bit.
And in order to show off the amazing future of Coral Gables, I'll need a volunteer from the crowd. Who would like to assist me?
I'll do it.
Fantastic. Now, young man who I can assure everyone I have never seen before today, what is your name?
It's Alfie Banks, sir.
Well, Alfie, you look like a man with taste. A man who wouldn't think twice about moving into a luxury area like Coral Gables. And believe me, if you think it's something now, just wait until you see what the future holds. Come closer and let everyone in the crowd get a look. Now then, if you'd be so kind as to take this alligator clip and attach it to the positive terminal on that battery there. Fantastic. Now just wait 1 second while I get the model. And here we go. Gentlemen, behold the future of Coral Gables. The streetcar! What the... Ah!
Doc, are you all right?
Well, that certainly went off with a bang, didn't it? Show's over, folks. You can see yourselves out.
I don't understand what happened.
Seems the antenna on the model car touched the charged-up pole and went kablooey.
But why would it do that?
Probably because some joker swapped the plastic antenna for this metal one with a wire.
Oh, I thought the model was battery powered.
No, it's a wind-up. The battery was just to impress the crowd. But it hardly matters. I set out to wow them, and that's exactly what I did. I mean, it could have gone better, but you did what you could. You can go ahead and get back to what you were doing before.
You're welcome? Would you be opposed to me taking your sign, Doc?
Take it. I'm sick of the sight of it.
Is this the sort of magneto you need for the engine?
It sure is. How were you able to get one so quickly?
I have my ways.
Well, you really saved me some time. I'll get to work replacing this right away.
Fantastic. Here's your wrench back, by the way.
Thanks.
Think you might make use of this piece of wood?
Now let me see. I think I can, yeah. If I shave off a bit of the side here, it'll work as a replacement for the missing chunk of rudder. Hey, thanks, mister. You really saved me some time here.
Happy to help.
Hey, you've really helped me out with getting this plane fixed. It should be ready by tomorrow.
George?
Yes, Alfie?
How's everything coming along?
Wonderfully. Thank you for asking. Clearly, you can see progress by way of the new office, but we're also expanding to larger projects. I've got my head architect designing a luxury pool, and our largest project is in the initial phase.
What exactly is this mysterious project I keep hearing about?
It'll be announced soon. I just need to iron out some details. But it will be worth the wait, I can assure you.
I think there might be something wrong with the car you gave me.
Oh? Has it given you any trouble?
It just sort of makes this clunking noise sometimes.
I was told it was in perfectly acceptable working order. Oh well, as long as it gets you around, you'll be all right.
I think I may have found your spectacle.
Wonderful. What is it?
Mabel Cody's Flying Circus. She's a wing walker, does all kinds of stunts apparently.
Sounds like a terrific find. Well done.
There's just one thing. She and her husband require payment in advance.
I see. How much?
$50 for a 30-minute show.
Reasonable enough, I suppose. You'll have to take the money out of our business account. Just head over to the Bank of Coral Gables and tell them I sent you to withdraw the money.
That's all for now.
Welcome to the Bank of Coral Gables. How may I help you, sir?
I need to withdraw some money.
Thank you for banking with us, sir. Have a pleasant day.
I'll try my best.
Everyone with their hands up! This is a robbery! I said put your hands up!
Now, just a minute. There's really no need for this.
Shut up, Mac. Nobody asked you to talk. Just put your hands up and hand over the dough.
Now, if you'll just listen for a moment.
Well, what are you playing at, bucko? I ain't got time to chat. Just hand over your dough before the boys in blue get here, will ya?
What do you think this is, playtime? You just come in here, waving a gun around, demanding everyone put their hands up? Have you even done this before?
No, as a matter of fact, I haven't. But this ain't about my personal life. This is about you handing over your money.
Look, you weren't born yesterday. There's no way you can make a clean sneak. But if you leave now, maybe you can avoid the police. Why not take that chance?
Believe me, I got plenty of time before the fuzz show up. Hell, I might even have time to put one between your eyes if you keep bugging me the way you are.
You talk tough, but I bet you've never even fired a gun before.
You shut up, you hear me? I don't gotta take this from you. I've shot plenty of guys. You don't even compare to half of them.
Okay, enough talking. So, what's it gonna be?
Okay, fine. I don't know what I was thinking coming in here, but there's gotta be another way. I'll leave you alone, but promise me you won't call the cops, okay?
Not bad, Banks. I'm impressed. Finally, a newsworthy story. Real estate agent foils bank robbery. I may or may not include a pun on your last name. I haven't quite decided that yet.
I'm just glad nobody got hurt.
How are things going on the Gables project anyway?
Not bad. In fact, you might want to come to the Granada airfield in a few days to see for yourself.
Sounds like a plan. See you there, Banks.
Pardon the interruption, folks.
Huh? Oh, what can I do for you?
You say you haven't got a pilot?
Well, at the moment, no. Like I said, our guy quit last week.
I heard there's a pretty good pilot in town, but we haven't been able to get a hold of him.
Oh, yeah, Flynn or something like that. If we could get him on board, that would be just ducky.
I appreciate your time.
No sweat, pal.
Pardon the interruption, folks.
Huh? Oh, what can I do for you?
I appreciate your time.
No sweat, pal.
Here you go. I believe this takes care of your payment.
Certainly does. Much appreciated.
Begging your pardon,
Yeah, what is it?
I've had this poster made up for the air show. What do you think?
Let me see that. Nice name. I like that. Nice colors. Exactly what I was thinking. And what's this little number on the side here?
That's how big the final print size will be.
Of course, that's perfect. Well, this is just the bee's knees. People are gonna love this show.
I'm glad you approve. Does this mean I can count on you as the pilot?
Sure. Just let me know where and when, and I'll be there.
This is it. Are you ready?
I think so. Flyboy?
Are you kidding? I was born ready.
Only thing is, we can't seem to find Dave.
Who?
The fellow who drives me over to the plane so I can climb on it.
Quite a turnout today, Banks. Seems Merrick has got a lot riding on this little show. Feeling nervous?
Nervous? Me? Of course not.
Oh, by the way, Miss Cody, I ran into someone named Dave on my way over, and he said to tell you he wasn't feeling well. At least, I think that's what he said. He was a bit hard to understand, to be honest.
He probably got into Curly's secret stash of corn whiskey again. Well, looks like we're gonna need another driver if we aim to get this stunt performed today.
I'll drive the car.
You sure? You ain't practiced with us before.
How hard could it possibly be?
Don't worry, Banks. With a pilot of my skill, this will be like shooting fish in a barrel.
It will be, assuming you ain't one of those all hat and no cattle types.
I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, but I'm sure this will all go down without a hitch.
All right, let's get this done. We've got a crowd to impress.
Okay, Banks, it's as simple as cow pie. All you gotta do is keep her steady and let Curly know when to lower the top. That'll signal flyboy. When the plane comes, keep her at the right speed and position so I can climb up on it. Kicking up a heck of a lot of dust.
Is that going to be a problem?
Nah, makes things more exciting, like a cattle stampede.
Oh no, she's lost her grip!
Banks, do something! I can't hold on much longer!
She won't be able to climb up the ladder if she doesn't regain her footing!
Mabel, step on the car roof so you can get your footing back.
Yee-haw! That did her! Thanks, Alfie!
So they finally gave me my own sales team after I practically had to beg them for it.
No kidding. I'm glad to hear they've finally come around. You get your own office too?
No, not yet.
Ah, well, things will work themselves out. I mean, it's only been, what, 3 years?
4, actually.
Well, you can't expect to become an overnight success, especially not with such a risky project. Have they at least given you a nicer car?
No, I'm still driving that old green heap around.
Ah, I see. Well, business talk aside, how's your brother doing?
Good, as far as I know. I haven't really spoken to him in a couple of months. Last I heard, he was going back to visit our mother. Wouldn't surprise me if he was asking to borrow some money. But then that's Beau for you. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth and spoiled rotten ever since. Anyway, Meeks, it was a pleasure catching up, but I really should be going.
Have a good one, Banks.
Mr. Banks, a message came for you from Mr. Merrick. He said to meet him at his mother's home as soon as possible.
Thank you, Morris. It's been a while since I've been here. I wonder why George invited me.
Hello, Alfie. Glad you could make it.
Thanks for having me. It's great seeing you all, although I have to confess I'm a bit confused as to why I'm here.
I'm glad to see he's managed to stay modest.
It is one of his better qualities, Mother. I just wanted to say that over the past few years, you've been extremely valuable to us. Not only have you helped immensely with establishing Coral Gables, you've also managed to climb the ranks in the office in a relatively short amount of time.
Oh, George, stop beating around the bush, would you? He knows what he's accomplished. What he's trying to say, Alfie, is that you're a man who can get things done. And as it happens, we need you for something very important.
Yes. Thank you, Eunice. My dear wife, always to the point. In any case, we're getting close to incorporating Coral Gables as a city, and that requires a special team. A team I want you to be a part of.
I'm honored, sir.
As I'm sure you've heard, we're only a day away from launching our electric streetcar line. We'll be having a ceremony to commemorate the launch. But we'll also be making a very important announcement. The new mayor of Coral Gables.
Mayor?
Yes, every new city needs a mayor. Since we're not a very big city, we have the luxury of foregoing elections and having the first one appointed. I think announcing the mayor along with the streetcars will bring heaps of publicity. Wouldn't you say so, Miss Douglas?
I've already got most of the article written. Just need to punch it up a bit with the details.
Why not bring in someone well-known to make a speech at the ceremony? That would certainly make an impression.
I thought you might suggest something like that, Banks. Did you have anyone in mind?
Not for certain, but I'm sure I can find someone in town.
I might be able to help you there, Alfie.
Well then, I look forward to seeing what you accomplish.
Good afternoon, Eunice.
Good afternoon, Alfie. What's on your mind?
How have you been? It's been a while since I last saw you.
It really has been too long, Alfie. But I've been well, thank you. Mostly busy with the PTA at the school George built a couple of years ago. We should have these little gatherings more often. You know you're always welcome here.
You're his wife. Surely George has let something slip about who's going to be mayor.
Oh, Alfie, you know how George is about secrecy. Even if he had told me, I couldn't say. Especially considering he's standing right over there.
Hello.
You'll find out along with the rest of us.
Any insights on places I might be able to find someone well-known to speak at tomorrow's event?
I haven't really been out much lately, but I've heard that the Venetian pool is drawing quite the crowd. It's a beautiful day. Why not go there and get some sun? You might meet someone interesting, too.
I just might do that. Thanks. I'll speak to you later.
Okay.
Hello, Mrs. Merrick.
Hello, dear.
How have you been feeling?
Just fine, thank you. I'm content to stay in and watch everything going on around.
I'm impressed by all the changes myself. I can't imagine what it must be like for someone who's lived here for so long.
I'm curious to know what this place will look like in 5 years. I hope to be around to see it.
Oh, I'm sure you will. You must be proud of your son.
Extremely. George always did have ambitions, but to see him succeed... From what George has told me, I'm sure your parents are proud of you too.
Yes, I think they are. Would you happen to have an idea of where I might be able to find some well-known people in the community to speak at tomorrow's event?
Well, I don't get out too much these days, but I've heard that some notable people have been playing at the Biltmore Golf Course.
Great. I'll swing by. No pun intended. Nice talking with you.
Always a pleasure, my dear.
I greatly appreciate your help, son. You truly go above and beyond the call of duty.
I'm eager to see what you come up with, Banks. There never seems to be a dull moment with you around.
Alfred Banks, first mayor of Coral Gables. If only you could see me now, Father. Begging your pardon.
What is it, boy?
I'm sorry to bother you, but you look incredibly familiar. Have we met?
Depends. You're not a politician, are you?
No.
Didn't think so. You look too clean. I'm William Jennings Bryan. You may have heard of me if you've read a newspaper in the last 30 years.
Of course! Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Bryan. My name's Alfie Banks. I work with George Merrick on the Coral Gables development project.
I'm sure that's very exciting work, young man. You tell Mr. Merrick that this pool of his is quite enjoyable.
If I'm not mistaken, you're quite the advocate of prohibition, aren't you?
You bet your buttons I am. These freewheeling wets must be going through a tough time, not having been able to drink in all these years. I was having a conversation with one just last week. He was complaining about limiting freedoms by not allowing the enjoyment of alcohol. Do you know what I said to him? I said, well, if you need it so much, why don't you just call up your pal, Charles Darwin, and have him evolve you an extra hand to slap yourself in the face? Ha! You should have seen the look on him. I love throwing their ridiculous rhetoric back in their faces.
Could I be bold enough to ask you for a huge favor?
I'd say that is fairly bold, seeing as we've just met, but boldness is a quality I admire. Ask away.
The thing is, Mr. Merrick is having a ceremony tomorrow to unveil the new line of streetcars, and I think it would be an asset to have someone as famous as you there to give a speech.
Not interested. Streetcars are just the cousins of railroads.
I don't quite follow.
Now is not the time for a debate, son. Suffice it to say that the corporations running the streetcars don't represent the interests of the common man. And I very much care about the interests of the common man. So you'll understand if I politely decline your proposal.
Mr. Bryan, if you would just listen a moment, I think I can show you that speaking at the event won't be such a terrible thing.
Well, the least I can do is offer you the courtesy of my ears. Have at it, boy. Right. You think I should speak at this rally sponsored by the Streetcar Corporation. I eagerly await your reasoning.
My boss, Mr. Merrick, he cares about the people. You ought to hear him talk. He doesn't care about profits, he just wants to build a community people can enjoy.
Is that so? He sounds like a man I could respect. I have to admit, what I've seen so far of his project has been inspiring. That he's doing it for the sake of the people is even more so. Not to be rude, but what exactly is the point of this rally, if I might ask?
We're trying to let the community know what the Gables has to offer. It's merely to benefit those who don't know about it and may be interested in moving there.
Sounds noble enough. I can support that motivation. I'm sure you understand my caution at lending my support. What sort of image is Merrick trying to go for?
He's trying to portray Coral Gables as the city of the future.
The future, eh? What exactly is the future?
All the modern conveniences before anyone else has them.
Of course, like those streetcars you mentioned. I'm still not crazy about supporting them, though.
Listen, Mr. Bryan, I'm not going to take up much more of your day. I just want you to consider my offer one last time. Your presence at the rally will ensure that the people leave with the proper ideals and finely tuned moral compasses.
Well, when you put it that way, it does make the prospect sound considerably more appealing.
So what do you say?
All right, you convinced me. You let Mr. Merrick know I'll speak at that rally. Just tell me where and when I need to be there.
I'll be sure to pass along the message. George, I've managed to recruit William Jennings Bryan for the rally tomorrow.
You don't say. That's fantastic. Excellent work, Alfie. This will be a great boon to publicity. Make sure you're there bright and early tomorrow. I want you standing next to me when we make the announcements.
You've got it. See you tomorrow.
And so you can all look forward to a bright future in this, the City Beautiful.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. May I say it's been an honor and a privilege to have you here with us today. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude and launch our fleet of streetcars, bringing Coral Gables into the modern age, there's one more matter to attend to. I want to take this opportunity to thank Alfie Banks. Without his hard work, Coral Gables wouldn't even be close to where it is today. Which brings me to the last order of business. As you all know, we have been incorporated as a city, and every city deserves a mayor. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to announce the first mayor of the city of Coral Gables. Edward Doc Dammers.
Thank you, George. It's an honor. People of Coral Gables, allow me to express my excitement at this wonderful opportunity. As your mayor, I guarantee a standard of living like no other.
Would you excuse me?
Well, well, if it isn't Alfie Banks. Fancy running into you at the Biltmore. I thought you'd picked up and gone back to New York. Where have you been?
I've been keeping a low profile on purpose, if you must know.
Oh, come on. You can't still be sore about being snubbed for mayor, can you?
How did you...
I'm a journalist, Banks. It's my job to notice things. It's been over a year. Can't you let it go?
It's just... I feel like all the work I've put in over the past few years has meant nothing. Honestly, what do I have to show for it? I came down here to restore my family name, to honor my father's legacy, and instead I've just been going around running errands like a fool.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, Banks. If you're looking for a pat on the back every time you make a sale, Merrick's outfit might not be for you. Not to say he's ungrateful, he's just extremely focused and he knows how to take advantage of his resources.
Take advantage is right.
Anyway, I hate to put a damper on your pity party, but I came here tonight as a reporter, and I think you ought to know there's a big storm headed this way.
What?
Yep, they're saying it's going to be a pretty big hurricane. You might want to get home while you still have one.
I'm sure they're just exaggerating. Wouldn't they have said something sooner?
Weather's not easy to predict.
Well, I appreciate the warning, but I'm sure things will be fine.
Suit yourself. I'm going to notify the people in charge of this party.
I guess she has a point. No reason to stick around here moping. I'd better get home.
Excuse me, pal. I'm looking for a fellow named Tom Walsh. You know him by any chance?
I'm afraid not, sorry.
Perfectly fine. I suppose I'll just have to wait for him upstairs.
Haven't I seen that face somewhere before? Where is everybody? Surely this hurricane can't be that serious a threat.